For number 5, to solve this quadratic equation, I would square root both sides to get rid of that little exponent 2. So I have x minus 2 equals plus or minus 7. Then I would add 2 to both sides, and this would give me positive 2 plus 7 and positive 2 minus 7. The plus and the minus is on 7, so that means I have to have different signs on the 7 only. So here, 2 plus 7 is 9, and 2 minus 7 is negative 5. So my solutions are 9 and negative 5. For this problem, this is a straightforward equation. We're putting both answers. Okay, and number 6, you want this in standard form first. So that means I have to move this negative 21 and put it right there after the 17x. If I move it over, I have to change the sign to a positive 21. So my new equation would be 2x squared plus 17x plus 21. Okay, now when I look at this equation right here, this is x factor with bottoms up. So I would say 2 times 21 is 42. And I'm trying to get to 17. So to get to 17, you could try 3 and 14. 14 plus 3 makes 17, and if I multiply 3 and 14, I get back to 42. So I need to write it in factored form. And then my first number is 2, so that's what I divide by. I see that I can't divide, so I bring the bottom up. And I have 2x plus 3. Here I divide, and I get 7. So now I set each expression equal to 0. So here I subtract 3, and I get 2x equals negative 3. Lastly, I divide by 2, and I get x is negative 3/2. Here I subtract 7, and 0 minus 7 is negative 7. So my two solutions are negative 3/2 and negative 7. For number 7, first of all, I would go ahead and label your ABC. We're going to have to graph a parabola, so we're going to be graphing a U shape like that. So A is the first number, negative 6. B is 12, and C is negative 4. I'm going to skip A and come back to it at the end. So for part B, this little formula helps you get the x value of the vertex. So I plug in B, and B is 12. So that's a negative 12, negative because the formula has a negative, and then it would be 2 times blank. Blank is my A value, which is negative 6. So this would be negative 12 over negative 12, and x is 1. So that's part of my vertex, and it's also the answer to my axis of symmetry. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is to take that number and plug it into this equation to find my y value. So y equals negative 6 times 1 squared plus 12 times 1 minus 4. So 1 squared is 1. And negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. 12 times 1 is 12. And then I have the minus 4 that just comes down. So then I would add or subtract straight across. So here I have different signs. So negative 6 plus 12 is 6. Bring down my minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. So this means that this point is my vertex of the graph. So I'm going to plot 1, 2. To get the other points of the parabola, I have to go ahead and do 1, 3, 5, and I multiply by the A value. So up here, A is negative 6. So I'm multiplying by negative 6 and get negative 6, negative 18, and negative 30. Now that negative means I'm going to have to go down. So from the vertex, I'm going to go down 6, and I'm going to go right 1 and left 1 to make it symmetric. Now I should, from those points, I should go down 18 over 1 and left 1, but I don't have enough space. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw the U shape to the best that I can. It does ask me in this problem on part A, right up here, does this graph have a maximum or a minimum? Well, this has a high point for the vertex, okay? So high point is a maximum.